The fifth topic is long-term investment analysis. Long-term investment analysis. So what are we talking about here? In the context of managerial economics, we have said people will be making decisions and will be taking decisions. Among the decisions that will be made include decisions on investment. And not only just investment, really, but in long-term investment. And we are saying in the context of managerial economic analysis, really one has to use economic analytical tools in order to make decisions. We are saying we should be investing, we should not be gambling. You have to invest. You don't need to gamble. Indeed, you are not required to gamble. Now, in order to avoid gambling and making sure that we invest, really the key issue is to make thorough analysis. For remember, we are talking in the context of a long-term, a complex, costly investments. So before we make decisions on either to invest or not to invest, really, we have to make a very thorough, critical, objective analysis. And this critical, long-term, critical, objective and thorough analysis should be made before really investing. And this now will help you to give you an answer on whether to invest or not to invest. And if you invest, the question will be now, where do I invest? And once you have decided on where to invest, the question will be why. Why should I go, let's say, in the real estate? Why should I go mining? Why should I go in transport? Why should I go into agriculture? You don't wake up early in the morning and decide my billions are going to be invested in real estate. And within real estate, of course, there are so many types of real estate. Now, you are saying it is only analysis that will help you to make a decision on whether to invest or not to invest. Once you have decided to invest, where to invest, how to invest, etc., etc. But then all we are saying with long-term investment analysis, what we are trying to do is to reduce risk. We know that the projects have a lot of risk, investment have a lot of risk. Now we are de-risking. You de-risk if you do proper investment analysis. You de-risk your investment by making sure that you reduce as far as possible the risks that are associated with the investment that we are dealing with. It may be a political risk, it may be inflation risk, it may be exchange rate risk, etc., etc. So really we have to make quite a lot of analysis. And we are saying within this kind of thing, we do all those analysis because most of projects are long-term in nature. Long-term in terms of years. There may be investment taking 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 10, 20, even 30 years. But then for you to be able to make sure that you are going to make profit at the end of the day, really you should see the profit coming before it comes. You should see the loss coming before it comes. And how do you see the profit coming before it comes? Just through analysis. How do you see loss coming before it comes? Just through analysis. So if you see losses coming as a managerial decision maker, at the end of the day, really, you have to quit that project, because under the theory of the firm, which is the foundation in your managerial economics, then you would say, no, I'm not going to invest in this project because, for example, its net present value, NPV, is going to be a negative, for example, you know. So even if you are going to make a profit, among other issues that you should consider in your analysis is how long does it take before I make profit? Yeah, how long does it take before I come to, for example, a break-even point? This is the point where your total cost and total revenue are equal. You are neither making loss nor profit. Now, how long does it take? Because this, again, has a lot of implication to the grace period that you may ask to your finances. It has implication when are you going to start making profit, so that you may also know exactly when are you going to start repaying your debt from the financial institutions. So it's very important to understand why analysis for long-term investment is very critical. Remember also, when we're talking about long-term investment, we are talking about very complex project. I did some analysis of Denver Airport in the US, very complex construction project. But then without really making this analysis, you may not know really all the sides of the project. And we are saying in here, there is again what we call a time lapse between the start of the project and the end. Some projects, we call them long-term, and they are really long-term, taking a couple of years, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 years. And in between, there are a lot of unforeseen issues. There are a lot of contingencies that maybe have to be covered. So it's only through thorough critical analysis that you may see, for example, a profitability, that you may see the market trends, that you may see, competition issues, etc. So among the issues that have to be considered when making these analysis would be issues like related to, for example, proper economic analysis, profitability analysis, as I've said. They may include issues of social analysis. Under social analysis, the key issue will include the investment that I'm going to venture in. Yeah. How long? How does it affect the community that you are dealing with? Yeah. For example, will it disrupt the community that is involved? For example, if it's a hydropower dam, for example, do I need to displace people, to remove those people from here to elsewhere so that I have my investment in place? And if so, what are the implications from social point of view? Will I need to compensate them? If I'm to compensate them, what are the laws of the country? What are the demands? Because at the end of the day, under social analysis, the key issue we are saying, you need not only the legal license, you also need what you call the social license to operate in a project. If you are not really accepted by the society around you, then you may have all the papers from the government, you may have all the papers from the legal authorities, but indeed, if you don't have the social license, if there is no buy-in by the community that you are dealing with, it may not really make a lot of sense. So socio-economic analysis are extremely important. The other kind of analysis that is very important in the context of long-term investment analysis will be environmental analysis. We understand in the due course of a production, as we said in the production theory, when you're producing goods and services, essentially you are going to deal with the environment in a way. You may disturb a flora and fauna. We are saying you may disturb with terrestrial and aquatic flora and fauna, that is plants and animals of the world. Really may be affected. The forest may be cleared in order to pave way for your production, for your investment. Now the key issue is, how are you going to really take into account of that to make sure that yes, you're producing, but then your production is green, your production is environmental friendly. If you are not really taking long-term investment analysis, at the end of the day, you may find yourself in conflict with the friends of the world. With green parties, for example, may oppose exactly what you are doing in the name of conservation. So those kind of stuff. But then the other thing that is very important within analysis is what we call a technical analysis. Under technical analysis of a project, a part of what we'll be looking at is this project, is this investment technically viable? Is it technically viable? From technical point of view, does it make sense? Yeah. Do we have the technology that we need for the kind of investment that I wanted to venture in? The question is not only having money, having capital, but the question is, do we have technology in place to produce exactly what we want to produce, to invest in the venture that we are thinking about? Of course, once you have done your technical analysis, others will include legal analysis. From legal point of view, are we standing on the right side of the law with the kind of investment that we want to make? Remember, we are insisting those are analyses that have to be made before we make a decision to invest or not to invest. Because at the end of the day, what we want is to make sure that we are not really making wrong decisions. We are not making decisions that at the end of the day will kind of lead into negatives. Financial commercial analysis are very important. Financial and commercial analysis of an investment are very important, because in here, among other things, we'll be saying, when it comes to capital, how much capital do we need? Where are we going to get it? Yeah, from this and this financial house. What are the conditions? When it comes to interest rates, how much can we afford it? When it comes to collateral, what are the conditions? If we default, what is it that is going to take place from the financial institutions? So it's very important to make all those kind of investment analysis, so that at the end of the day, really you make decisions that make sense, decisions that are very well informed. So by concluding, we are saying in the context of managerial economics, long-term investment analysis is extremely important, because we cannot afford making losses. Remember, the theory that guides us is the theory of the firm, where the key issue, the baseline, the bottom line is a profit. We don't like to operate on the negative territory. We want to move in the positive territory of the market, of our balance sheet. We want to see profits and profits and profits again. But then, as we are saying, this will not really come by surprise. Profits should not come by surprise, and losses should not come by surprise. They should be seen coming. If you see losses coming until forever, then you reject that project. If you do your NPV, net present value, and you find that really it's negative, that is, your cash outflow is bigger than your cash inflow, however much you discount it, then you forget that project. So all we are saying in the context of investment analysis, you would see the key issue here is not only really just making analysis related to finances, pecunia analysis, but also non-monetary analysis. Because at the end of the day, yes, we want money, we want a profit, but there is no more than money to be analyzed in the context of a modern day investment. So students of managerial economics really have to understand extremely well why long-term investment analysis is very important, what are the key issues, and of course in the due course of the lectures, detailed lectures, they would understand for sure what are the details, issues like a net present value, issues of profitability analysis, etc., etc. So with this, we are sure that now you are poised now to go into details of all of the 5 topics that we have covered in a very short way here.